That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm putting it on tomorrow.
Also might have stuff on this
I'm
one.
gonna tag everybody.
Okay. We're not starting yet, right?
No.
Oh, Kennedy and I took some ones of us walking too.
That's cute.
They were cute ones actually. They were like very model vibes.
That's cute.
Cute
That's
man,
nice.
It was cute.
Because even if we said no, she's still gonna say it is. So
No,
just
no,
leave
it is.
You see?
I've been at this long enough to know.
Do you have a wife?
I do.
I also have me
For now.
playing.
What?
Oh my god! No, see, this is why I won't get married because if my husband ever said that, I would literally like
Said what?
take a hammer and.
I said, she asked if I had a wife. I said yes for now.
I was like,
Get out of here. I've
It's
been
okay,
married.
my husband calls me his future ex-wife.
Yeah.
So.
like,
Or mom or whatever it is, yeah. But it's alright. Listen, wives do the same
As a
thing.
joke.
Oh, this is my sugar daddy. This is my whatever.
Have you
yeah.
seen the trend of my current boyfriend? Like
No,
where
'cause
people
I
are
don't
like,
have a
I'm here with my
boyfriend."
current boyfriend.
Mine's the opposite. It's like.
No,
And
no,
then
no.
the guy's like,
They're-
what do you mean you're my current boyfriend? She's like, yeah, so I'm here with my current boyfriend.
Chanel, do you know how to
So
change this
It's,
inside
a,
these
it's like a
templates?
trend. It's a joke.
No. Did you see the work wife video?
This is our,
No.
our
Oh my God.
listed, right?
Let me find it. The work wife video.
Work wife? Oh, my dad, like his assistant, they've been like
So I
working
wanna- you see
together
how
for
here
like
it says your
25
name?
years. So
I don't know
what?
where in the
No, I'm
template.
kidding.
No, she's married.
You know
No,
what I'm
no, it's not like that. My dad's
You know where
no.
we were.
She's also Italian.
Oh, there we go. got it.
But still,
One second.
whatever. Anyways, so he calls
Then I have to
her
copy
like
it.
his work wife.
Oh.
They're
Okay, I
all
want
together.
work
Oh,
wife.
is that what you're talking about? Like
Yeah.
an
You got
assistant?
Like my dad will be like,
Bubble thing?
oh, like
Cool, instead
call
of
my work wife. I'm like, okay.
That's
What
funny.
kind of-
I like that.
Well, yeah, she's like a she's a mom.
One second, I gotta find the video. One
That's
second.
so cute.
Yeah, no, they work really well.
Okay, here. I did.
It's my work wife.
Oh, infamous work wife.
Yeah, I'll introduce you.
Meeting the work wife.
Oh, hi,
So I meant to introduce you to Ellie.
Oh my god, Ellie. Hi, so nice to meet you. I've heard so much about you. It's nice to put a face to the name. By the
Oh
way,
no.
where's my proper good morning?
Oh.
What are we
What are
watching?
you doing?
Oh no. I'll
Literally,
slap
what are you
him.
doing?
I'm not even
No,
kidding.
no, my dad treats her really right.
Okay. No, I slap.
Why did you kiss her?
What am I missing? What's going on?
Yo, I'm so
The wife is meeting
possessive.
the work
Are you
wife.
serious?
I kid you not. I'm so possessive with my guys. I
Oh, is that
cannot.
the one with the kids and the babies?
No.
I've seen that.
Like,
Are you okay, Ellie?
I know you're good. I'm not. I know myself. I cannot.
It's not a real thing. Well, our work marriage license and things.
You know it's not,
You got married?
I wouldn't say.
Yes, I told you that.
No, you didn't. How was it even legal? Did you not tell her about her corporate chic wedding?
Yes, I told her. I told you.
No, you didn't.
I told you that I had a work wife and that we got married.
What? I thought that was a joke.
We just came back from a honeymoon.
What are you talking about?
I remember I told you. I said we went on a honeymoon to Fiji. I told you that.
I thought that was a continuation of the joke. I thought it was a work trip.
Why would I joke about that?
Everyone knows that a work wife is just someone you get along with well at work.
Honestly, I feel like I'm being a little bit gaslit here. I have been nothing but transparent with you, and now I feel like you're making me out.
I feel like I'm being gaslit.
Transparent is not the word I'd use, Ron.
I even told you well in advance when we took out our work mortgage.
Oh man, regretting that though with the interest rates and everything. Wait, now do you own property together? Like, I mean, what else am I missing? Son.
Yeah, it's our work.
Murder.
It's our work.
Literally murder.
Yeah. All of
I
them.
feel like being a little bit unreasonable, but yeah.
You're being
This
a little
all-
unreasonable.
Oh, good to meet you.
This whole image, everything about it. I'll burn them in the car. Everyone, each one of them. I dare him.
I just.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Cool. I feel like we've gotten acquainted and caught up
He got-
with each other
That's
for the last 30 minutes.
This
Yeah.
is
Getting a little stir crazy.
Let's
Let's talk about it.
yeah, he got triggered. I'm
Alright,
too intense
cool.
for
So
this.
check this out, right? Next week I'm not gonna be here, right? Because I'm not gonna be here next week, I want to focus on 3 things, which will be continuing. Like this is the theme. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but over every week I've been trying to kind of carry a theme throughout our weekly meeting, our morning meetings throughout the week. Even though sometimes you literally wake up and just log straight into your computer, it's still something that. If you pay attention to it, ultimately, we're going to be able to end up creating this thing that we're trying to put together, right? Which ultimately, as usual, always ends up with getting paid, right? The way I look at things is I think that there's two things that are most important when it comes to, this is practicing a little bit for everything next week in Texas. So, what?
Oh, if I'm on the phone, I've been sending the video.
Oh, that's okay. These are my agents. You're my assistant. They need to pay attention. You do what you do. The concept that I'm pushing out through Texas is the 90K 90 Days Challenge. The 90K 90 Days Challenge is starting on June 15th. Everybody on our team, by the way, the code MDRN1 100 is a universal code. It'll always be the same.
Oh.
So any sort of anything that's ever going to happen with the team, if there's ever a login page, put that code in. You're always going to be good. Yeah, this is just like a general, what's it called? The 90K 90 Days Challenge is broken down. Please don't die on me. I don't have insurance.
Don't worry about it. I just got my meds refilled, so we're good to go.
Good. So the first thing that we have over here, let me use a different color because I know that we're all a little ADHD and hyper-focused, so let's like play to that and make things a little fun. We have two things here, right? First thing is mindset. Oh, wow. There we go. Second thing over here is action. Now, mindset and action are extremely important on their own, because if you don't have one, but at the same time, if you don't have one, you don't have the other, right? So these are both two very separate things. Mindset are things like sleep schedule, right? It's a mindset thing.
I feel like I'm being called out.
Oh no, I'm gonna go through each person.
It's hard.
This is why it's an intimate meeting. I'm not trying to put this in front of 100, 200, 300 people. It's more like an idea of like, look, like let's talk about this for a second. Let's get real about it. Let's spend 30 minutes. Let's actually redo things. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, it's funny because when a lot of your actions and activities sometimes, as much as they rely on your own, they also are in part with somebody else. Not always do you have total control over it. However, when you're of the right mindset, you're able to share, communicate, and express that with somebody else, and then you're able to, you know, come to some sort of happy medium. The action part of this sleep schedule would be,
Waking up.
well, going to sleep at a time that makes sense. And again, you and me, we're going to have differences of opinions and views on this forever. Let's just agree on that. But we can always bring it up and disagree about it. It's not a problem. It's fun. Now, let's talk more about another mindset thing, right? Let's talk more about, like, I'm just going to go through some of the things that I've experienced this week. If they're related to you, don't take them personal, okay? And if they are, take them personal. It's okay. A mindset thing, buyer negotiations, right? Meaning, having a deal open, buyers being unreasonable, okay? This is something that from a mindset perspective, right? I don't want to burn my hat as I fire my brain up. From a mindset perspective, it's like I'm going to lose a deal right now, right? From an action perspective, it's actually negotiate. Am I going to do it? What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? And then this is actually the phone call. That phone call that you took before on speaker was fantastic. Because the listing agent doesn't know what to tell her seller right now. We have an appraisal at 1 o'clock and our inspection is still open.
What is the situation?
So here's this beautiful situation that we're in. Long story short, Chanel, do you want to explain the situation in 30 seconds?
You ask me.
Alright, so
you know me.
Here we go. Perfect. In 30 seconds, this is how it is. We did an inspection, and throughout the inspection, we noticed, number one, that the seller removed a bunch of things from the property that are supposed to be in the property, per additional things that we added to a contract. And the second thing is that there are certain items in the inspection report that were highlighted. They don't really mean much, but we're asking for $15,000 because we can, or $12,500 because we can.
Right.
So the buyer negotiations, is it true? It's true. I think it's fair. The buyer is being very overbearing when it comes to a lot of different things.
Mhm.
Is he Israeli?
So yeah, of course.
Those are two different things.
No,
Israeli
but
and
it's
Yemeni.
one and then it's the next, and that's why I replied back to you. I was like, I know exactly
Very
who I'm
tough.
dealing
They're
with.
very tough. Yeah.
Exactly, it's
Damn.
like Patel. It's like the same level.
It's
The same.
it's really tough. Yeah.
So look, and it's great because you know what? When this closes, it's gonna be like, dude, if you can close this, you can
close anything. So
That's what you
true.
just have to keep telling yourself.
It's so
honestly.
true. It's
Now-
so true.
No.
Okay, for sure.
mindset on the commercial space, or even on another deal, could be a seller telling you, I want to sell a property at an unreasonable price,
Mhm.
right? It can be a landlord or a management company taking their time, dragging their feet on putting a deal together. You've been working on this deal for 3 months, right? So mindset is actually time, right? Like the amount of time that it actually takes for things to be able to work. Now, the difference between the time that there's over here, how do we solve that? We solve it over here literally with action, right? With speed. Now, on our team, we have this rule, it's called the 5-minute implementation rule, okay? And from an agent perspective, the rule, the thing that I'm really trying to push, the thing that I'm really trying to get to, is that when you come up with an idea, when you come up with something you want to do, when you come up with something you want to make it happen, your part of making that happen should be done within the first 5 minutes of you having that idea.
Example.
Example, for me on a marketing end, it would be we just did this on our meeting. We spoke about mailer cards.
Mhm.
Within 5 minutes of having that conversation of mailer cards, there was an email out to the graphic design team to say, hey, can you please create
The mailing card.
mailer cards?
Mhm.
That's 5-minute implementation.
Got it.
The Popple, we just got the Popple. Popple gets set up, activated, ready to go. I'm curious to see who's actually going to have the circle on their phone by the time it leaves the office.
I don't know if I
Right.
even can, but yeah.
I'll get you another
You could put it right in the middle of the mirror.
No, but that's the purpose of the mirror then.
Well, you see, the mirror for you, I think, is an insecurity.
No, it's more about did I eat and if everything is okay, is my makeup is in touch, and all the girls are taking my phone all over. So it's good for connections as well. So don't test me out on this.
I still think it is, but it's okay.
He literally took my mirror and started checking himself
Why would
out.
that be?
I
An
took the
insecurity?
mirror, and it's funny. What?
Why would that be an insecurity thing? Like to check yourself out all the time?
I mean, you know, I'm gonna digress from this. I just have to get in trouble. man.
Nothing. The risk reward
It's just not
now.
worth it.
Yeah, would not.
No,
yeah, it
but
doesn't
listen.
Go, yeah.
You know when you have a lipstick on and you just ate
Yeah, no,
and
I
it just
understand.
smeared and whatever that is.
I
So
experienced
instead
that
of going to
before.
the restroom and check it out, you can literally just pick up your phone and check it.
Yeah.
What's wrong with
fair.
it?
It's like us with filling,
Yeah,
basically.
because that word's filling all the
No, just,
I get it.
I just assumed. Yeah, I just
get it,
yeah,
I
whatever.
Get it,
yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm here.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, the reason I'm highlighting these things for me, for myself, right? This week there's like 11 different things. You know, I put a big portfolio in, a townhouse project in Jacksonville. I've never seen the property, never walked the property, but we're in contract.
Mhm.
That was something that, working with the sellers, you know, first kind of convinced them that I'm qualified to buy the property.
Mhm.
Also getting them to agree to give me an assignability clause on the property, which made the whole deal happen. And now I'm looking for a buyer, right? So I'm taking a property that I'm in contract right now for $13 million. Okay, I take that 13 million, and now I'm going to go to 13,750. My profit is right over here. I have to split this profit in half. So, on a deal like this, right?
Mhm.
Is this something that right now, right here today, I'm gonna be able to see? Go from 13 to 13,750? The answer is no. Okay? In order to get this deal from here to here, just so you're aware, we have inspections. I'm gonna have the conversations and the hard arguments and discussions with the people on my team to get them to cooperate with me to actually participate in the inspection. Right? That's a lot of work. There's a lot of heavy lifting with that. Then there's scheduling inspections. It's what's it called? 52 separate units, right? See, 52 separate inspections, 52 separate walkthroughs, 52 separate tenants.
A lot of money for the inspection.
It's just a lot of shit, right?
Yeah.
It's probably gonna cost about 10 grand just for basic inspections. Now, just for perspective, on an appraisal, on the 44 units that I own in Normandy Isles, that appraisal cost me 28 grand.
Wow.
Okay, just to have the guy go there, right? So, inspections. We're not talking about financials over here. We're talking about mindset and action, right? I'm trying to break down for you how somebody like me looks at a deal. Because the same way that I look at this deal, I look at the buyers, I look at the sellers, I look at the negotiations, I look at my sleep schedule, I look at my life. It's all the same equation, right? So I'm breaking this down now. My end goal, remember, my end goal is to go from $13 million to $13,750. You want to film this actually? Because I think this is going to come up really good on paper.
That's an insecurity kind of thing.
For 100% insecurity kind of thing. But you know how I know that I'm right? Because look, you're fucking sitting on it. You didn't forget about it. 100%.
No,
No. Everything. What I'm telling you, I'm not telling you.
You lashed out like a freaking lion. I don't know what it is.
I'm not telling you what I'm telling you.
This is not a good video thing.
Yeah. Pause. You can't multitask on videos. You have to be focused. This is.
Yo, she's gonna break you one day.
Oh my god. What am I saying? What I'm saying is that
Oh, sorry.
that the fact that you're still sitting on it tells me that what I'm saying is correct. And I'm not saying this to call you out. I'm saying it to call you up. There's a difference. I'm not trying to say, oh look, pop a bubble. I'm just saying, hey look, there might be a better way, cooler way, easier way to do something like that. You know, maybe get branded mirrors.
When I'm getting married, I'm gonna use that line on my husband. I'm not calling you down. I'm calling you up.
Calling you out. Don't wait to use it on your husband. Use it on anybody you want because it's a fire line. And
No,
it's
it's.
right. So again, this is this. All right, just focus over here. Thank you. We go from the 13 million to 13,750. Okay, in order to go from the 13 million to 13,750, I understand that in order for me to get to where I want to go, there's a $750,000 spread, right? $750,000 spread. What do I have to do in order to earn that, in order to create, in order to make that happen? Okay. So because I have this end goal in mind, I know what I need to do. I need to do inspections. Once I do the inspections, I have to actually get appraised. An appraisal. Once I get appraisal, I have to make sure I can get financing. Once I get financing, I close. Once I close, I stabilize. Once I stabilize, I refi. Okay? This is general process as to how it works. You go through inspections, you go through an appraisal, you go through financing. This is all you need in order to actually become the owner of the property. Over here, you exchange money and you get keys. Now, if you're an agent who understands how to break down a deal to where you can actually find two buyers, or you can find one buyer, or you have somebody who has the cash to put up to make this happen, in between this process over here, you can actually wholesale out a contract. So now, you can actually go and you can take a contract that you have for this price, which is worth this, and instead of waiting or going through the closing process and having to spend a bunch of money, having to qualify, having to make sure that you have everything checked out, you can actually come over here, you can find, pause. No, it's not. You don't have the pause feature in your video?
There is on the side. It's a white button on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a photo.
No. It's the other.
I don't know if you have it, but I do. On my
Let me show.
camera, there's a pause button.
Yeah, here it's the one on the
Yeah.
side.
When you continue, it just continues the video.
Yeah, just continues the video.
Yeah.
Right? What was the last word that I said?
The wholesale. You're wholesale.
No, but I just want to remember the word that I said so that I can continue talking because you stopped. Buyer. I want to talk about a buyer over here.
We have a video. We can just
I
go.
know, that's what I'm saying. Go all the way to the last 10 seconds, please. It's just how you do one takes, by the way. You just keep flowing.
Another question. Don't we need to the title? What about the title? Is
That's
it
closing.
it's closing? Okay, because they're.
You can find a buyer. Ready? A buyer who will step in over here and buy this property for an additional fee. So if you have this property here that's $13 million, you go through the inspections, you go through the appraisal, and the appraiser says, hey, you're in contract for $13 million, this property's worth $13,750. Right now, the way it is right here today. You can find a buyer who will buy this, let's say here, for $13,250. They'll pay you $250,000 for having the rights to close on this contract. This buyer will now come back over here, and let's just use this red marker here. They'll close on this project. They're in it at 13,250. There's 13,750. So 13,250 minus 13,750 minus 13,250 leaves you with an additional $500,000 in equity that you're able to recognize. Okay, this is for this buyer over here. This buyer now can go through the stabilization process, can go through the refinance process, and then now, let's say this building, right, today worth 13,750. They stabilize it, right? Usually stabilization adds between 4 and 7% in additional value to the property. As soon as you're done the stabilization, then they're going to refinance. Let's say over here, realistically speaking, they'll probably refinance for $16 million.
Yeah, fine.
Okay, that's how you map out a deal.
The Burr method.
Well, yeah, essentially, but on a commercial scale.
Right.
With also cutting out space for there to be a wholesale in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Did I lose everybody or did we follow?
Lost.
Follow.
All right, cool. We'll break it down again.
And yeah, okay. No,
There's a deal in contract right now for $13 million.
in contract.
In contract.
With a buyer or with someone who is a cash, like it was
It's just in contract.
okay,
Doesn't matter.
okay,
Somebody owns the rights to this contract right now.
okay.
Okay? Is this still going? Nice.
That's a lot. That's
So,
never mind. I cannot say it.
this deal's in contract. What?
Something popped in my
What are you
mind. There's a video here in my
Oh.
mind.
Pause.
You know she could also, they can cut it. Like they can cut
No,
whatever
but
they
still,
want.
no.
It's
I-
not a video, it's paused.
Oh no, she's using the pause feature. Now she has the pause button.
Opa.
So, one more time.
Unpause now.
As a real estate agent, alright, you know what? Fine. As a real estate agent, right, sometimes you have opportunities where we can walk into deals that have a certain contractual value. Okay, this is what it's in contract for, but the property is actually worth $13,750. If you put this property in contract for $13 million and it's worth $13,750, the spread that you have in between the $13 million and the $13,750 is $750,000. Which means that now, in order to go through a deal like this, in order to make a deal like this work, which is a commercial deal, right? In general, deals, in order for the deals to work out, you have to go through inspections, you have to go through an appraisal in order to get financing, you get financing, and then you close. That's the way it works. So, if there's somebody who's a buyer, right, an end buyer, who's buying this property for $13 million, it's worth $13,750. They are now buying a property with $750,000 in equity because they walk into the deal and the deal is already worth this. Now, because you have a deal that could be in contract for $13 million that has a spread of $13,750, instead of actually closing on the property on your own, you can find another buyer who's willing to pay you anywhere between $13 million and $13,750 for the property. In this instance, we'll put in a $250,000 difference.
They know that it's worth $13,750.
That's why they're willing to pay less. Because the same way that we're willing to pay less to buy the property because it's worth $13,750, if I go to somebody else and the property isn't available anywhere, and I'm the only one who knows about this property, I'm the only one who has this contract, and I call somebody and I say, hi, I have a property that's worth almost $14 million and you can buy it for just over $13 million. Most of the time people are like, dude, there's $1 billion in spread with $750,000 in spread over there. What's gonna end up happening is that they're gonna be willing to put down money, for instance, $13,250, right? So if someone's going to buy this property at $13,250, there's going to be a spread for the end buyer for this person over here walking into this deal today of $500,000 in profit. Now, when I say profit, I don't mean money that they're making right now, I mean value that when they're going to refinance, they're going to be able to recognize that money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. So now, going through that process, there's two more steps after the closing, which is something that a lot of real estate agents don't realize. This is where the real equity is captured. The real equity. Do you want to set up a tripod? Do you want to set up a tripod? I have one in the car. Okay, prefer that. So, that being said, if you go through the stabilization process and then the refinance process, my keys, and then you go through the refinance process, then what ends up happening is usually in between this process over here and this process over here, you're going to create something called equity. Equity is the amount
That if you sell
Of
your
money.
property, how much you're left with.
how much money do you actually have in the property.
Yeah.
Okay, how much money do you actually have?
The principal you paid so far.
Does that make sense? Why are
Yeah,
you
it
smirking?
does. No, just no, it makes sense.
I'll explain it as many times as you need.
No, it's
So
okay.
if you have a question, ask.
No, I'm good. I understand.
Use that privilege. It is not like that with me. With me, like like
Shut the
uh-huh.
fuck up. What are you saying?
What's going on between you two? But you guys gotta get your shit together.
Do you know how much fucking time
I was about to say, the two of you
I'm annoying. I'm annoying.
It makes me feel stupid sometimes.
Real
that's
estate
all.
makes you feel stupid?
Yeah.
Well, you're really pretty, so you're not stupid. Why? But that's
That
just how it
has
is.
no-
It's okay,
that
just
made
wait
no
till
sense.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
Would he
because
say
that
that
one
to
goes-
you? Would he say that to you?
Well, no, it's been for a long time.
Johnny, I think you're pretty down. You got real estate down.
Yeah. But in the beginning, I had to go through the same learning curve.
Yeah.
You think every doctor knows what they're doing the first day they walk in?
I hope so.
No. I'm saying when they walk into
The first time
school
that they do
or they're in
something.
residency or whatever, it takes time. You gotta just go through it. So yeah, and once you learn it, then yeah. So what's the question you have? The equity?
No, I don't have a question. It's just lots of numbers. And I'm not a numbers person, that's all.
Basically, the whole concept that he's trying to explain is that
I know what the Burr method is. Like you're refinancing and then you sell it off for more, no?
it depends. It's buy, renovate, rent, and resell, or refi. What did I say? Buy,
Renovate,
no.
buy,
renovate.
renovate,
Rent.
rent, and refinance.
No, there's no rent. There's no rent in there.
What is
It's
the-
buy, renovate. I don't even know if it's renovate. It's buy, renovate, refinance,
Let's
repeat.
Google it
no?
right now. While we're like,
Why are we doing this? I keep forgetting the third R.
I think it's refinance.
What?
okay, so
Buy,
buy, rehab, rent,
rehab.
refinance, and
Yeah,
replace.
yeah. Buy, rehab, rent, refi, repeat.
Well, again,
So there's 4 R's.
well, yeah, but it's stabilized. I
BRR.
use the term stabilized.
Same thing,
Sounds
right?
better.
Same thing. No, but what he's
4
trying to
Rs.
explain is he's trying to explain a concept called wholesaling. which-
Yeah.
So basically, instead of you're just literally going around knocking on doors, let's say, and you're hustling, and you're just saying, hey, like you're just putting stuff under contract, and then you're flipping the contract.
I think that's what I'm getting confused about. What do you mean putting under contract? Doesn't there have to be a buyer in order for it to go into contract? Oh, you are the buyer.
That's why I asked about the buyer. Where there's a buyer, it doesn't matter
And
which
that's why I
buyer.
said it doesn't matter
yeah,
who the buyer is.
yeah.
Well, doesn't it matter who
Never.
the buyer is?
This
It's going
is-
into contract.
Okay.
This is a different side of real estate. This is
Again,
you
the
can
reason
even
I'm
do it
trying to-
without
The reason I'm trying to explain this is because I'm trying to get
without
to
living license. You can do it. Like you don't need.
Yeah, I know someone who does
Yeah.
it actually.
So there's money that you can make in it, but as an agent, you can there's the ability to also collect the broker fee.
So you want us to do real estate wholesaling?
No.
I'm down. No, for real.
The reason I'm bringing it up,
Um,
well, first of all, yes, but once I have this. By the way, with Real, you're allowed to wholesale.
That's so cool.
Yeah, Real allows you to wholesale. Most brokers don't allow you to wholesale. The reason I'm bringing this down is because I'm trying to take this same mindset of instead of going through all the way through the refi,
Mm-hmm.
being able to find another buyer over here. It's called thinking outside of the box,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when we're sitting here and we're thinking outside of the box, this is the same way that we're now able to take all these other things that we have going on in here and over here and use that same way to be able to get to here. Which means we'll work backwards so you don't feel attacked. From a timing thing.
I don't
right?
feel attacked. It's okay.
No, okay, sleep schedule. When it comes to getting yourself, listen, and again, I totally understand, okay? I 100% understand that everybody has a certain amount of time that they have to sleep and everybody has certain things that they have to do. And I'm not going to say take away from those things because at the end of the day, in the long run, it ends up hurting you. So, what I'm saying is to figure out some sort of way that's sustainable to be able to have and do what you want in a way where people understand, people recognize, people see that the things that you're doing are, and you also able to see this on your own, that the things that you're doing to change your schedule are things that are actually going to end up equaling more money in your pocket, right? And again, when it comes to negotiating with people, when it comes to talking, when it comes to being confident with certain things that we're doing, right? Sometimes when it's the only thing that we have in front of us, or it's the only thing that we know, or it's the only thing that we're comfortable with, or it's the only way that we're used to doing business, then it's very hard to break through either one of these things to actually make this make sense. Because I was talking to somebody else, I have a coaching client who's in Montana. Okay, Montana's like a middle bumblefuck nowhere. Like it's literally, there's a development that he lives in with like 40 other tenants, and then the closest next gas station is like 10 miles away. And I was talking to him about this TV habit that he has. Okay, I don't watch TV. I haven't seen like a TV for random shit in probably a decade. And yeah, it's a lie. Probably about 6 years, right? So a guy like this, he comes home every day, right, from like doing what he's doing, and the way that he detoxes is he's detoxing by watching TV. Okay, so sitting here detoxing by watching TV. Sitting and detoxing by watching TV, in my opinion, is probably the dumbest way to actually really go to sleep, because you're watching a bunch of like stupidity. You're going to sleep. Your subconscious brain is actually processing everything that you've seen. You had some crazy dream. You wake up in the morning and you're zapped because your brain just spent a whole bunch of time doing a bunch of shit. So over here, what we said was that we created a schedule, right? The schedule was at 7 p.m., 7:30, and then 8:15. Okay, and the schedule that we did,
What is 8:15?
8:15 was no phone,
Oh,
period. 7 p.m. was down time. Okay, and then 7:30 p.m. was writing.
oh, this is a completely different
Journal.
schedule. Okay.
This is at night.
I don't know. This is not my schedule.
This is at night. Of course it's not, because your wind down schedule starts at 9:30 p.m.
What do you mean? I'm 7:30 with you every morning. You
At
got to
night.
be kidding me.
At night.
At
This is
night?
at night. This is p.m. This is not in the morning. This is a schedule that we came up with for at night, because we're talking about sleep schedules, right? We're not talking about, like, we're talking about how to wind down at night, right? What we did was we broke it down. We said if by 7 p.m. he disconnects, right, and he makes time, he has a kid, right? So he makes time to like spend the time with his family. By that time, kind of detox, kind of get out. 7:30, he's writing down. So he's journaling. So what you're doing is, when you journal, when you write, when you document things, it forces your brain to slow down, right? Which automatically it automatically slows down the speed that his brain is working. And what that does is it gives his brain the opportunity to start calming down. Now, if he gets rid of all electronics by 8 o'clock he usually goes to sleep between like 10, 11 o'clock. If you get rid of all electronics within an hour or two before you go to sleep, you're automatically going to end up having a more sound sleep, because blue lights and all the other fun stuff it is, which is not a bad thing. We just have to learn how to use it to our advantage. So if this is what he's doing now, and he doesn't have his phone from 8:15 at night, he's automatically more present, and honestly sometimes he just wants to go to sleep sooner because he's bored. Nothing wrong with that, it's just part of how it is. That now contributes to him being able to get up at 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning, which isn't totally unheard of, and very reasonable time. A lot of people get up around that time. There's traffic on the 95 around that time, which means that there are people that are up and running at that time. Very fair barometer, by the way. There's traffic on the 95 or not. Very, very, very fair barometer. And then from there, now it's like, okay, you know what? He's married. He has a wife. He has a kid. His kid's like 1.5 years old. And because of following a schedule like this, he's actually now making about $20,000 a month, which now allows him to actually hire somebody.
How many do you have?
Just the one camera one that's sitting in the back seat.
There's no sitting one.
There's no one that has the handle? You sure?
Yeah.
Alright, at this point, whatever.
These are the ones that don't have.
Yeah, they don't have the, what's it called?
Those
Did
are the
you
ones that I
bring
packed
them
up
to
yesterday.
I don't think so.
Are you sure? Because it was only these types, so I didn't know if it was. We had it somewhere else.
Alright, cool, whatever, it's fine. We moved on from the idea. We're good. I appreciate it. Well, I didn't realize it would take this long.
Well, you have so much stuff in your
It's
car. I was
okay.
looking, and it was
It's
in
fine.
here.
It's fine.
I know
just
what
leave
it looks like,
It's
but
fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's
I'll
fine.
put it back.
That being said, thank you very much, I appreciate you, you're the best. Alright, so, she's good, she tries. She's trying her best. She literally has no real estate background experience.
Be careful though.
With what?
Be careful
With what?
with your eyes. I'm kidding.
my
He's falling for her. Can you see it?
Falling for her? Sweetie, let me tell you
I'm
something.
telling you, these two got
Let
lunch
me
and
tell
that-
you
It's
something.
unbelievable.
Yo.
That the reason why. The
No,
reason
I'm
why
kidding.
I
That was a
hire
joke.
people- The reason why I hire certain types of people
Yeah.
is strictly for their the way that their personalities work and the way that they match. It is so far away from my type, like so far away. You get to know me long enough, you'll see the type of girls I like to be on. 100%.
Yeah.
By the way,
I'll throw this out. Where's the garbage?
yeah, you can get a perfect match.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm so uncomfortable.
Three of the people who were at the event yesterday
Mm.
are people who are just like no longer in my life, and they came back because they always come back.
Yeah.
So why am I looking? You know what I mean? Right now, I'm trying to make $1 million every quarter and just be happy. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
We'll get there afterwards. All right. So, that being said, is that fair? I think it's fair. I think it's a fair.
I really don't know what's going on right now. I'm trying to like pretend that I feel comfortable in this situation.
Comfortable? What's your
I made a joke, and for some reason it just went like really far. So I don't.
That was definitely from truth. You think
Yeah.
that, Never mind.
That's okay. She can think that.
Yeah, it's okay.
She doesn't get it. It's okay. It's part of the
I don't
game.
know if I get it either, but it's okay.
It's fine. We're ready to continue?
Yeah. Are we waiting for Johnny or?
Yeah, we can wait for that. Where do you go?
I have this
There
thing
he is, he's
that I
back.
like make people feel uncomfortable. That's my
It's
thing.
okay.
I have this thing. I like make people.
I can walk through it. This shit doesn't scare me. When you sit on a strong foundation, you sit on a strong foundation. So,
Yeah.
that being said, with this, right? When it
Alright.
comes to, we here with me? You be back?
Yeah, we're back with the whole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, we're back.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So that being said, right? If you're actually able to break down now again, I understand, Johnny. How many kids do you have?
3,
Ages?
Oh,
14, 14, 10, and 8.
Yo, Johnny's a baller. He's got a
You
teenager.
have a 14-year-old?
I have a 14-year-old
Wow,
girl. Yeah.
you look
Hang on, are you
young.
volunteering?
Thank you.
Are you
I know,
volunteering?
right?
Are you volunteering?
Thank
'Cause
you,
he can use the help.
Yeah.
For a 14-year-old?
Yeah.
No. She's just fine. Yeah. She.
Wait, what?
But 14, 10, and 8. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Thank
That's
you. It's
crazy.
so nice.
Yeah,
It was
wow.
it was worth waking up this morning to get that compliment.
There you go.
I love when they card me at Walgreens still. You know, if I buy like beer or if I buy
Oh,
like
yeah.
cigars, like the things. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm like, oh, you made my day. Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still at the age where it's annoying when they card me, but at some point it'll
You're
be-
gonna love it. At some
It'll
point,
be
you're
a
gonna love it. I'm
compliment,
telling you,
yeah.
at some point, it'll be a compliment. Yeah.
So
All right,
when-
sorry.
I'm at the point
When
where
did
it's
you
a
have your
compliment.
firstborn?
Really?
So from
So-
I'm just like, what? You don't think that I can
Guys, let me
breathe?
finish this through.
Wow, he was in your age when he had his first child.
No.
As we're here,
26. Huh?
Oh, that's why. That makes sense. Okay.
as
Wow.
we're
It's really young.
walking our way through the schedule, what ends up happening by default is that if at 8:15, right, you're already kind of disconnected, then by 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock, you're actually ready to go to sleep. Right, so what ends up happening is that when 7:30 does roll around, right, now on the flip side over here, you're actually recharged. You have like better quality of everything, and you're actually ready to go. Now I've been doing this for 5 years, right? Just under 5 years, October 2020, election day. Actually, last election day. So, right, and you're running it through this type of time. In the beginning, I had bags under my eyes. I really did. Like they were bigger, and they get bigger, they get bigger, they get bigger. Now, this is a Gucci bag, and this is a Louis Vuitton bag, right? Chanel's right here. We don't need bags.
Right.
Say Dior maybe. I think this
so-
is better than Louis Vuitton.
What? Dior?
Yeah, Hermes even.
Or should
Hermes.
Oh, you
Louis Vuitton, I feel like everybody has
Birkin
it.
and Hermes is like.
Well, I
Oh, right, sorry.
I honestly hate
Personally,
Birkins.
Yeah.
Hermes is okay. There's
Big
one
person.
specific Kelly that will, get ordered and paid for when necessary.
That's right.
But for now, it's.
I think they're so
I'd
ugly.
rather- They are, right? They're like interesting.
What, the
They're ugly,
Birkins?
Yeah. In
See,
my opinion.
So I think so too, and that's why everybody's entitled to their own opinion, because that's what's so beautiful about this business, that everybody can run their business the way they want. However, if you want to actually turn this into this, okay, then really what ends up happening is taking, let's break it down like this, right? Because 90K over the course of 12 months is $8,400 a month. That's all it is. $8,400 a month. Think about it, right? Very easy. $8,400 a month. So if you're gonna break it down now to $8,400 per month, right? That's actually 2 sales, okay? 2 sales. It's 6 rentals, or it's 1 commercial lease. Okay? That's all it takes. Holy shit, mind blown. That's all it takes. Okay? Now, if that's all it takes, then now the focus over here, I just realized that this would probably work a little bit better with everybody over here, right? So if that's all it takes, then how are we actually gonna get there? What are we actually gonna do, right? What's it gonna take? I'll break it down for you because I've done all 3 of these in the last 90 days. Well, okay, add an extra here and add this over here. We'll do 12, and then over here rentals, I think it was 16 or 17, whatever it is, right? So in total, it's 20, 28, it's 34 transactions in the last 90 days, right? That's basically my number, right? 34 transactions in 90 days is a lot of work, okay? It's 1 deal every 3 days. It's extremely overwhelming. There's a lot happening. But it's the same process again and again and again. Under contract, or offer accepted, under contract, process. Process is this: inspections, appraisal, financing, close. That's the whole process. Inspections, appraisal, financing, close. All I have to do is get one person to say yes. Once they say yes, we're good. Matter of fact, if it's a lease, we don't need the inspections, we don't need the appraisal, we don't need the financing, we go straight from yes to close.
If it's a lease.
If it's a lease, because
Okay.
it's just one document. It's an offer, it's a lease, money and escrow, done. So, if I do a $10,000 rental, okay, $10,000 rental after fees will make me like $4,100. Okay, because you still have to cap, you don't pay any team splits on rentals, but you still have all your fees. $4,100 in rentals. Okay, $4,100 out of the $10,000 commission. If you do this times 2, you're at $8,400 a month. Okay? Sale. Right now you have a sale of $500,000. Okay, $500,000 times 2% is $10,000, right? $10,000 minus 40%, you'll be at like $43.50. Okay, in the beginning it's kind of shitty. Yes, I know, it's kind of hard. Oh my god, I'm going from 10, I'm losing half my commission. But you know what? It's part of the game. Everybody's got to pay the player. There's always a way it works, right? So if you have that buy-in fee and you're at $43.50, if you do 2 of these every 30 days, you're at $8,700. Okay. Calculation both ends. Rentals, sales. Okay? Which one's harder?
Sale.
Doesn't matter.
Oh.
They both get you to the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter which one's harder. The question really should be, which one do you enjoy more? Which one for you is easier to hold a client and get him in? Because not every client is renting at $4,100 a month. Okay? Some people are renting at $2,500 a month, which just means that you just have to times the number by more. So now, if you have to do it times 4, okay? It's $2,100 times 4. But you're getting to the same number, so it's really just a matter of volume. How much volume do you want to do? This is why we talk about the cold calls and the dials and the talking to people and connecting, because it's just a matter of how many people do you need to get to in order to be able to actually get what you want. Does this make sense?
It does make sense. The thing with the cold calls that you mentioned it.
Hang on, we're not there yet.
Okay, sorry.
We're not there yet.
Sorry.
I know, my bad, I gave you a segue. Now cold calls we'll talk about in a bit. Let's just focus on the numbers a second, okay? Because I feel like this, for everybody right now, is just a little bit of a mindset shift. Because now we're actually seeing it on paper. So now that everybody sees this on paper, let's delete this.
Do you feel like a teacher?
Do I feel like a teacher?
It's the Sagittarius. They were born as the
This-
mentors.
This is
The-
actually
yeah,
something
you
for
too.
me.
You have the potential.
This is
You
this for
didn't
me.
discover
Can I
it
answer
yet.
the fucking question?
She looks at
You know
me.
how they always do this with their finger with the knuckle
Who?
on the whiteboard?
I don't like
Teachers.
doing it on the whiteboard. I'm not a teacher. I'm sharing from experience.
What?
I used to be a teacher.
Really?
I'm sharing from
I can see
experience.
that for you.
So, one thing teachers are really, really bad at is like learning when to be quiet and not to be quiet.
That's me,
But-
actually. I used to be a teacher. That's my
but-
issue.
But that, I don't know, it was just that, what? Why is it thinking about you? So
Sorry.
So
Johnny,
I don't have anything else to throw out. So I'm
Johnny, you
stuck here.
comfortable?
I didn't do anything.
I just had nothing else to throw out.
I didn't do anything. Let me out of
I
here.
was literally looking around to see if there's something else
You
I
want
could
to
throw
throw
out.
my coffee?
Yeah.
Hey, Sherry, that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
No, I'm kidding.
I was about to say, I was looking around the table like, is there any other garbage I could throw out now?
Oh, now
Joe's
it
gonna
makes
start bringing the garbage
sense.
can in here so
That's
that you
right.
can't
Okay,
go out
Alexis,
anymore.
we're surrounded by Sagittarius. She's a Sag, he's a Sag,
Are
and
you?
he's a Sag.
November 26th.
No way.
That's
You
why.
seen- You saw everything I posted. What was it, Jen? Just pay attention. I left a bunch of messages.
No, love
So-
them too. They're amazing. Yeah.
So it's kind of hard, like with us, we're irresistible, and then by the time people realize it, they're like, "Fuck, we're stuck."
Oh, by the way,
So,
my
okay,
buyer,
no, just yes.
my buyer has the same birthday as you.
Your buyer has the same birthday as me.
Oh,
Why do
no.
you think I know exactly how to manage?
December 2nd.
It's very easy.
Yes.
Makes a lot of sense.
No
So
way.
let's build this out, okay? I'm gonna run two concurrent calculations over here. Okay, we're gonna do this for rentals, and we're gonna do this for buyers.
Okay, let's get
I need
serious
to open
here.
my Zoom room because I promised Texas team that we'll give them an opportunity to log in, and I don't want them to feel left out. So let me open this, and if anybody pops in, Chanel, you'll just let them in, and then
Yeah.
it becomes a thing.
Honestly, Bex gave me crazy advice when it comes to rentals, which it's like so obvious, but I didn't think about it at first. She said that they like try to get their phone number immediately because then you'll see how serious they are, and I started doing that, and now I have 2 people to call today.
Yeah, you
Good.
should. Well, so let me take that another little bit of a step further. As soon as you get their phone number, text them. Don't call them.
Yeah, but you text them to set up a call, no?
You text them to but also you text them like to get options. Like as soon as you get their phone number, you ask them, what are you looking for,
Oh.
right? So it would go something like this: Hi, right? Great, super excited to work with you. Bedrooms, bathrooms, timing, meaning how soon, credit score, income, and zip code.
And how many people live in the house, or does it not matter?
Well, bedrooms and bathrooms tell you right away.
Okay.
Because you're not really allowed to ask how many people are living in the house. You can only really it's one of those things where it could be taken the wrong way. You could ask how many adults over 18 are living in the house for an application purpose. So, from rentals. Okay, let's break this down. 1 of every 6 rental leads closes. Okay, so we're gonna do 6 over here. Okay, 6 minus 5 equals 1. That's your 1 close. Now, if every 6 rental leads get you to 1 close, how many leads do you need to have in order to close 2 deals a month? 12. If you want to close 4 deals a month, how many deals do you want? How many, right? So here, this 24. 24. wanna do-
he's given like big numbers so we can play with it.
That is not
Yeah.
my ratio, Joe. I've had like at least like 200 messages.
Then
from
you have to get better at qualifying.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, or I just have to get better about how I'm handling them.
Oh, you mean
You
like
have to get
200? Oh,
better.
you mean you have more messages
You
happening?
have to get
Yeah,
better
and I'm
at
not closing anyone.
qualifying people. If you ask the correct questions, you're going to be able to get to this ratio. It's a process. It takes time. You have to just get better at asking the questions, and you also
Yeah.
have to do it a little quicker. Now let me just clarify the thing about timing for a second, okay? Because it's very important to remember this. When you go fishing, right? When you go fishing, it's very important that you pull the fishing. Everyone here has been fishing before, right? When a fish hooks your rod, right? Are you just gonna sit there and celebrate now and say, "Oh my God, I caught a fish," or are you gonna try to pull the fish out of the water as quickly as possible? Right? Once you pull the fish out of the water, you don't care if you keep it alive inside of a holding tank. You don't care if you kill the fish on the boat. You don't care if you kill the fish afterwards when you get there. You don't care if you don't kill the fish at all. You throw it back in. You caught the fish. That's all that matters. Catching a fish in real estate is a contract. Buyer's agency agreement or purchase agreement or listing agreement. Once you have those things done, they come into this holding tank. Okay? In this holding tank, you have a bunch of dollar bills floating around, okay? Now, this holding tank, the reason why it's a holding tank is because everybody who's coming to the tank, right? You ever seen like live crabs or stuff instead of like, they come in and they choose, they want that one, right? They want something specific. That's why it's in a holding tank so everybody can see it. You don't necessarily know that the crab, if it comes in today, it's gonna be bought today, it might be bought tomorrow, it might be bought in a week, right? Because it's there. However, every single day, you're still feeding the crab. You're still making sure that the tank is good. You're still making sure that the water is running correctly. You're still making sure that everything's happening the way that it's happening, right? I want to open the Zoom room. I feel bad for them. I don't want them to feel like we're not paying attention to them. Did anybody say anything in the group?
Is that no 12?
Yeah, I'm using different tab for like things. Yeah, it just keeps you organized.
Yeah, I like it.
Welcome to Joanna 12.
Recording in progress.
They're supposed to. It's already listed in mine. It's open. It's already in there from earlier.
But I can listen to a reminder.
Do it. What's up? Welcome to the party. Cool, Chanel. If anybody else pops in, let us just let them in.
Oh, there's
I'm gonna
David.
I'm gonna take the blur of my background off. There we go.
Hi, David. Show yourself. There you are. He's smiling.
That's what's up.
Okay,
So,
yeah, I show you a joke.
6, 12, 24. What's the 24 would equal? All right, here. So let's do this, right? 12 minus 10, 24 minus 20. Then it would be, what's the next number? If we're doing this, then it would be 36 minus 30. Okay, so over here you'd equal, over here you'd equal 2. Over here you'd equal 4. Over here you'd equal 6. Okay? If each average commission on each deal, David, what's your average commission on a rental? David does a lot of rentals.
Average commission is $1,500.
$1,500. It's a perfect number, guys. Real life feedback over here. So if each one over here equals $1,500, in order for him, now we're gonna do this times, okay? So now we're gonna times this by 4 would now equal 6K. So, if David was doing 4 rentals per month at an average commission of $1,500, he's actually making $6,000. $6,000 times 12 is 72K. Okay? $72,000. So, using this number again, if you're taking an average commission of $1,500, what's up, Melinda? Good to see you. If we go over here, and then again, once you get into a comfortable pace where your average commission is now going to be $1,500, you figure out a way to quadruple the number. And when you quadruple the number, you're able to figure out where you'll be. So if David's making $1,500 every week, over the course of a month, it's a $6,000 check at the end of the month. Now, you and I both know that David's making sometimes more than that, sometimes a little bit less than that, usually more than that, right? So how do we get there, right? Because $6,000 a month is a great starter. But once you have all your expenses,
You're
and
not
you're
left
planning
with
for
a
a
lot.
vacation, it's nice, right? So it's a start. Same thing over here. 12 minus 10 equals 2 closed deals. 2 closed deals again at $1,500 would now equal 3K. Okay, times that by 4, that is 12,000. Times 12 is, somebody help me over here?
Wait, what do you want to do? What?
And 12K times 12 is
$144,000.
$144,000. You guys realize,
Sorry.
you realize how the difference between step 1 and step 2 is a difference of $70,000. You realize that?
Crazy.
But again, what does it break down to? It breaks down to the level of output and the closing ratio. I am doing the thing with my knuckle, you see? Where But again, it's a point. I'm making a point because my point makes sense. It's really just a matter of how many leads are you taking in, how many leads are you closing, and then how many times are you willing to do that?
Question: how do you increase the amount of leads with rentals if they're, for example, limited with referrals?
The amount of rentals, the amount of listings that we post, the amount of, put it to you like this. Average right now, one listing, okay, one marketplace listing
No, you gotta do it.
gets
The
you,
one
let's say it
Facebook
gets you 5
Marketplace?
leads. Let's say it gets you 5
Marketplace?
leads. If the average rent right now, just give me a second, I promise you we're gonna do it. We're going through a process here where first we're doing some rentals, then we're doing some sales, and it's all gonna make sense, and then we're gonna go to an appraisal. That's the whole play right now. That's what we're doing. Trying to make this done as quick, as timely as possible. So, if I'm going through, one marketplace listing gets me 5 leads. Well, let's just do 6 so like that it's easy to track over here. If one gets me 6 leads, then I know that if I'm gonna post 2 listings, I'm gonna get 12. If I post 4, I'm gonna get 24. If I post 8, I'm gonna get 48. If I post 10, I'm gonna get 60. Okay? So it's really just a matter of how many listings you want to post. Because the more listings you post, the more traffic you're gonna get. The more traffic you're gonna get, the more chances you now have to talk to more people who will potentially now buy from you, who will potentially now rent from you. Okay? So if you're gonna post a rental listing, the average listing size that you want to post over here is gonna be $3,100. And the reason for that is because, as David explained to you, after fees, average commission is about $1,500. It will take you 4 of those deals to cap. 4 transactions to cap. That's it. That's all you need. Because you're at a $4,000 commission split. So if all you're doing, and you're not paying any team splits on rentals, so you're straight to cap it. So now all your money's going to stay in your pocket. Okay? So all you really have to do is, if you're going to sit here and every week you're posting 10 new listings. Now, you're not posting 10 new listings, meaning today you're sitting here and you're posting 6. Today you're posting 2. Tomorrow you're posting 3. The day after you post 5. You have to show Facebook that you're not just trying to make quick money, you're trying to build community. Right? So this is how it works on the rental end. Over here on the rental end, as you can clearly see that if all you're going to do is just figure out the number, get your closings better, get more deals going, average commission of $3,100, average deal size of $3,100 divided by 50%, right, equals $1,550. $1,550 times 4 is 7, whatever it is, let's just say. Come on. 1,550 times 4?
50.
15. 1,500 times 4?
6,000.
6,200.
200.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much. I appreciate that.
That's
Thank
about
you.
to say that.
Thank you, calculators. So, 6,200. Okay? 6,200 times 12. Again, you're at your 72K. Just about, right? 73 and change. Okay. Now, some people are happy with $73,000 on rentals. No problem. It's a good start.
Wait, you do 6,200 times 12? It's 74,400.
Okay.
Even
Okay.
better.
I'm still
Yeah.
gonna go with 73,000 because 73,000. Why not?
That's good.
Okay. $1,000. We don't know where the money went. It happens all the time. We don't know what happened. So, this is on rentals. Does this make sense? Fantastic. Now let's move into sales. I'm a lefty, so I might conceal part of this thing as I'm doing this, but I'm trying to make it work for everybody.
So you said post this
Okay.
one. Yeah.
In sales, very simple. Average sales price. Melinda, average sales price where you're at is $350, right?
Wait.
Just request on you.
Yeah, I did.
It's more around 4
Okay.
to 5.
Perfect. 400K times 0.2%. 2, 4, 6, $8,000. Okay? Now, you're gonna minus 40, and then you're gonna minus 500. You're gonna end up with, let's just say, about $3,800. Okay? $3,800 is 50% of your monthly income goal. 50%. Okay? Now, in order to get to a closed sale, in my experience, it's 1 of every 10 deals. 1 of every 10 leads, 1 of every 10 qualified leads, 1 of every 10 people who's pre-approved is going to close. Anything better than that? Good for you. Right? So, if I'm now going to have to work with 10 leads in order to get to 1, 10 minus 9 equals 1, okay, equals $3,800, times 2 is $7,400, right? Times 12 is 80K. Do you want to mute the microphones?
Yeah.
So, again, 10 leads every month equals 1 closed deal equals 80K a year. You and I both know 80K a year is nice, but I want a BMW. So if I want a BMW, well, I don't really. But if you want like an actual car, you want to enjoy yourself, you want to go on vacation, you want to do here, you want to go there,
Also taxes. Yeah.
and taxes, you're gonna want to make a little bit more. So, if instead of 10 leads, I do 20 leads, minus 18 equals 2 equals $7,400. If I times that by 2, I equal $14,800. Times 12 is $148,000. Well, 160K. Or that same number again over here, which is $144,000. Same two deals. So let's just calculate things real quick. 20 buyer leads, okay? 24 rental leads. It's 44 leads in total. 44 divided by 30 is 1.5 or 1.4 and change. Which means on an average day you have to be talking to 1.5 qualified clients. If we break it down, I live, breathe, eat, and shit real estate, right? So I have 24 hours in a day. I'm responding to people probably about 12 of those, okay? 12 hours. 12 divided by 1.5 is 0.6, let's say. Which means every hour during the day I have to make a 0.6% attempt at trying to talk to a qualified lead. So, instead of breaking it down by hour and giving it half-assed effort, let me consolidate all of this and let me do this over the course of 6 hours. If I do this over the course of 6 hours and I give myself 6 hours of focused attention to my business every single day, I'm going to, over the course of a 90-day period, be able to make about $14,800. Because again, I'm talking to 44 leads, okay? So I'm talking to 44 leads. Now what you have to realize is that these 44 leads, it's not just 44 leads. It's 41, it's 38 people who are telling me no.
Right. It's less. Right.
It's 38 people who are just not gonna work with me. But it's 44 people that I'm talking to, which means I'm gonna get rejected 38 times. Some of the people on our team don't know how to face rejection. They're just not used to it. They get whatever they want. And there's nothing wrong with that. In sales, however, if you do want to be successful, you have to get comfortable with getting rejected. That's how it works. And it's not about getting rejected to bite somebody back and say, oh, fuck me, not fuck you. No. Right now is just not the time. You can keep them in your database. You can keep them around, have them take you out to dinner, have them take you here, have them invite you there, have them get to know you as a broker, with the intention of buying real estate with you, with the intention of selling real estate with you, with the intention of, hey, look, if you're choosing to not work with me right now, it's probably because either you're not comfortable with how good I work, you can't handle my quality, or you're just not sure who I am, because everybody who knows me wants to work with me. So, if you do that 44 times, what's 44 divided by 6? Journey calculator, who's quick?
7.33.
So all you have to do is talk to 7.33 people every single hour over the course of those 6 hours that you're working.
It's a lot of people.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Insane. 7 people. You talk to 7 people to leave your complex in the morning when you walk your dog. Like, think about that.
I don't walk my dog in the morning.
You know what? Not everybody can be perfect, okay? Most perfect people walk their dogs in the morning. So, and other people, and other people have
No,
fairy
my
schedules.
husband does the morning shift.
You know what? Maybe you should change that. Maybe you should walk your dog in the morning. Because if you walk your dog in the morning, you meet more people. You know that I closed my first deal
Was your neighbor?
walking my dog. Well, my ex's dog. But walking the dog. And my dog, another dog. And we start talking, and this lady tells me that her husband wants to rent another house because they want to do construction, they want to do renovations on their house in the Bell Harbor Village. Bell Harbor is a very expensive community. And in my head, I was like, wait, if your husband lives in this community, you guys own a $7 million house, why don't you just buy another one? Like, it's going to be cheaper because you're going to be spending $100,000 a month on rent. You guys will buy a house for $1 million and you just, it's a wash. So they bought a house with me for $995,000. That was my first sale. That literally came from walking the dog. So, as far as I'm concerned, wherever I go, anybody who goes, hello, I stop what I'm doing and I make it a point to talk to them because it goes one of two ways. Either way, it turns into a qualified lead. So I'm okay, right? And that's the calculation that I'm making over here.
That should have been recorded.
It is being recorded. It is being recorded, but it's not gonna get shared anyway, right? But that's a hit, right? Like that's a thing.
The mindset, yeah.
No matter what happens, I'm winning. No matter what happens, doesn't matter if I'm buying, selling, or canceling a fucking contract or a listing. The 6661 Mead Street, I canceled the listing. I'm done working with the guy.
Is it the thing with the wasp?
Yeah, I'm done working with the guy because the guy says he'll figure it out. And you know what I told him? I said I figured it out. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why? I was gonna go there and make a video and be like, sometimes I have to cancel listings on sellers, but I didn't think that it would be. I felt like it would be a little tacky.
Yeah.
It's not something I wanted to do. So instead, I sat over and I figured out how do I go and how do I get another seller like that, and I realized that I have to call 300 people in Miami to get another listing appointment. Now here's what's crazy, okay? Why do we go on listing appointments? Why do we go do cold calling? Why are we sitting on the phones? If every 300 calls I'm making, okay, if every 300 calls I'm making is giving me one appointment, let's break down this calculation over here. Okay, is this cool?
Yes.
Is this graph figured out? Am I moving too quickly? Is there anybody who's online that feels like they're not involved, or do you guys feel like you're involved? If nobody unmutes themselves, I'm taking it as a yes. Fantastic. So, let's break this down again, okay? I'm going to get rid of all of this, but we're still going to keep these boxes because we just made a calculation over here when it came to, I'm just going to reset all of this, when it came to working with buyers and sellers, okay? Very simple. Sales. Now, for those of you who joined, the calculation that we made over here, we'll clear this, we'll just clear everything and start again because we're moving along. So, this is the explanation for cold calling. Okay, this is what makes sense. This is why cold calling makes sense. Cold calling does not make sense from an output level. It doesn't make sense. I'm going to make 300 calls and I'm going to sell one. It doesn't make sense. It absolutely does not make sense. So, if I'm going to make 300 calls, okay, 300 equals 1. If I'm playing a 300 to 1 odds game, what the hell am I doing? It gets better. In order for me to now set 10 appointments, I need to make 3,000 calls. Here's the crazy part. If my closing ratio is 1 out of 10, and I know that in order for me to make 300 calls, it takes an hour and 45 minutes. Okay, so we're going to keep the timing count over here, an hour and 45 minutes. I'm using a triple line dialer. An hour and 45 minutes is what it takes me.
Yeah, that takes me longer, but okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have to pump those numbers up. So.
No, the Vulcan 7 is slow, but yeah.
Well, again, you can shorten the amount of time on the ringer. So you can shorten the dialing time. Instead of 45 seconds, you can shorten it down to 15 seconds.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, it cuts your time by a third. So if you're on the phone now, right, and you're spending an hour and 45 minutes, an hour and 45 minutes guarantees me an appointment. So for 1 hour and 45 minutes, I have one appointment. The average price, Melinda said, we're using her numbers, $400,000, okay? So if this one appointment is going to equal a $400,000 sale, which again, based off of that number, is going to make me $3,800, okay? In that 1 hour 45. $3,800 divided by 1.45. We're just going to take an equal number, and we're going to go with $1,500. Well, we have to divide it first. That was a mistake. 3,800 divided by 2. To make it easy, we're just going to do 1,500. Well, yeah, it's 1,700. Thank you. Which means that your time now for these 3,000 calls that you made, okay, is going to be worth, again, we're going to have to divide it, right? Because it's 300. This is the 145. Do this by 10, it's 14 hours, 5 minutes. 14 hours, 5 minutes divided by 1,800. Just shy of $130. Okay? Is $130 a good return on an hour? Somebody calls you and says, hey, I'll pay you $130
Yeah,
an hour?
Great.
It's great. Entry level though. Entry level. Right? So to start off, if you're running these numbers here on cold calls, you're making 1,800 again. Then divided by 1.45 equals, let's just do 140. Okay? $140 an hour. If you're making $140 an hour on this calculation, at the beginning it's kind of like, eh. But if you go and you look at everybody else, everybody's settling between, in Texas, anywhere from $13 to $40 an hour. In Florida, $15, $30 an hour, $35 an hour if you're really good. $40 an hour if you're absolutely amazing and irreplaceable. But even then, everybody's replaceable. Because again, it's a paycheck. Somebody can wake up one morning and say, hey, I'm not interested. So if I can break these numbers down and I can go less, right? If I can make more, if I can get my closing ratio now on these cold calls, instead of 1 out of every 10, it's 1 out of every 5. My hourly value just goes up because if I do 140 and then I go times 2, right now I'm at 280. Now, if I get my closing ratio even better and it's 1 of every 3, then that 280 now becomes 6, 7, whatever it is, 820. If that makes sense. All of a sudden my value is going up just because I'm getting better at closing these numbers. Instead, it becomes 100 to 1. Instead, it becomes 1,000 to 1. So these numbers just go split by 3. Now, why do we start with the cold calls? Because the cold calls, as much as people hate them, what it does is it instills within you a certain skill of being able to go from 300 to 1 to creating 100 to 1, from 3,000 to 10 to 100 to 10, to 1,000 to 10. What that automatically does is when you get to that graph that I just showed you before that I created of buyers and sellers, the approach to everything now is very different. Because now when you're talking to people, you guys follow me over there, and you're talking to people and you have questions and you want to talk to them and you want to ask them what's going on and how do you qualify them and how do you make everything make sense, all you need to do is ask them the questions that qualify people, which is how many bedrooms are you looking for, how many bathrooms do you need in your house, how soon do you want to move, what's your credit score, what's your income, what zip code do you want to go to, and then if you're working with buyers, it's a pre-approval instead of credit scores. That's it. That's the only difference. That's the only thing that changes. Everything else is exactly the same. So the reason why we run through the cold calls is because, again, you have an opportunity to sharpen your skill, get better at what you're doing, lower the ratios as to what it is that it's actually taking you to close. So like that, you can end up with your 44 leads per month, which equals 6 transactions, which equals the 12K per month that we're looking for, which equals the 144K a year after taxes, ends up at about $98,000 here in the state of Florida, which considers you a success on the modern day team. That's it. Sounds really simple. Sounds not that efficient, which is okay because we're not looking for efficiency in the beginning. We're looking for skill building. We're looking for how do we get good at what we do. Now, you guys are sitting here like, fuck, Joe, you really just made it sound so simple, but it's hard. And you know what? I agree. It is. But at the same time, how many people do you know that are in real estate right now that have made over $250,000 in the last 12 months? Johnny probably knows a few. Chanel, you probably know a few. You probably know a few.
My uncle.
Okay.
There you go.
I know one.
Okay, well you gotta get to know more people who are in that space. We're gonna connect you with more of those people when we get there. It's important. How many people do you know are making $90K a month? Your uncle? Okay.
It's in Chicago though. So
I know
Okay.
90K in a month, even in a
commercial,
week.
by the way.
There you go.
Yeah.
How many people do you know that are making over $500K a month?
In the construction business, you see a lot of money.
Construction business. I'm talking about real estate. I'm not talking about
Ah, yeah, I
construction
know,
business.
but still.
I'm talking about specifically real estate.
So specifically, real estate, I don't know them in person, but I know of them.
Okay, how many people do you know in person?
Yeah.
Question, serious question.
Huh. I cannot say guaranteed. I know them, but I don't know for sure. So
Okay.
you don't know if it's all talk, you know.
You have to ask him for pre-approval. And you can figure that out. So here's what I'm getting at, okay? Because we do have about 20 more minutes, then we're gonna head out.
Oh.
So I know we're all having a great time, but Chanel has an appraisal and we have to go find a seller. So
Sounds fun.
it's gonna be great. I love fighting with sellers, especially when they're not my clients, and I'm representing the buyer, because it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I mean, whatever, for what it's worth, it'll be fun. Interesting activity to do on a Friday. We're rolling up 3 deep. We're like 3 people to this appraisal. So one more time, okay? In order to get to, and this is something, by the way, that I'm sitting here and we're having this conversation now. The reason why we're having this conversation is because this coming week I'm going to be in Texas, right? So if I'm going to be this coming week in Texas, what we're going to do is, yes, obviously we're going to have a 7:30 in the morning meeting, but what I'm saying is as well, that I'm giving you guys open houses to run, and I'm giving you basically all my listings. I'm just saying, hey, make it happen. In exchange for that, what I am asking for is I'm asking for a commitment every single morning for everybody to make calls. For everybody to set at least one appointment this coming week. Do not set the appointment for, okay, cool, yeah, I can come today. Set the appointment at least for 24 hours in advance. Follow the process, which we will help you with. Print out the documents. You need someone to print out the documents. We'll cover the cost of printing the documents. It's not a big deal. But go and print the documents. Mail them out. Then go on the appointment and record yourself. The entire appointment. And then sign the documents. And if the documents don't get signed, then we will review the recording together and we'll figure out what works. Because a listing presentation is very simple. I don't walk into a listing presentation to sell myself. I walk into a listing presentation like this. Seller is already sitting over here and already has my documents because I've already mailed them to them the day before. So they have the documents on the kitchen table. I come into the house. And I say, hi, it's so great to see you. I'm really excited to be here and I thank you for the opportunity. It's a pleasure. 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 Right? So, that being said, great, fantastic, we're here. Okay, awesome. Give me a couple minutes. Let me just walk around your house. Let me get a little feel for what's going on. I'll be back. We'll answer any questions. That's it. I'm out. Walking around the house. I walk into random objects all over the house. And I'm just trying to figure out my way around, trying to make things work, trying to get around, trying to make things happen. Cool, great, awesome. I take my notes. I notice that there's a fixture over here. I notice that there's a bath mat inside of the shower. You know, I noticed that there's this thing, which by the way is a sign of an old bathtub when someone puts a sticky mat inside of the shower, those anti-stick things. You know, one of those things. Or they're in a rental apartment. Or they're in an apartment that, you know, like something that, it's like, I'm here, but I'm not here. Like, I don't feel 100% comfortable. You know, like, so you look at all these different types of things and you just start taking in little notes. You look at the AC vents, you notice that they're caked up with dirt, all these little things. You then come back and you sit down. And when you sit down, you make sure that your phone is sitting on the table with face down, or you have a privacy screen. And while your phone is sitting on the table face down, why is it face down? Because it's recorded. It's not recording because you now want to go and upload this audio somewhere. It's recording because you want to qualify yourself to see how much better you can get with everything you're doing. And the only way to do that is by actually having a recording, because in the moment you don't remember what the fuck you're saying. So now you're recording this presentation, you're recording this appointment. And while you're listening to this appointment, you're going through everything, which is, okay, so I noticed inside of the master, I noticed this, I noticed that, I noticed it's a little cluttered, I noticed a lot going on. But before we get into what I have for you, what questions do you have for me, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? And I collect the paperwork that they have and I flip it over and I write their questions down on the documents that I'm leaving with them in their own house. How do the sellers know what questions to ask? Because they've already reviewed all the documentation. So I don't have to sit here now and say, hey, so guys, this is what you should get when you list with me. I said, you've reviewed everything that you get when you list with me, right? They go, yeah. I I said, do you have any questions for me? They usually say, why are we paying commissions? Or why are we doing this? And you say, well, the reason why we're offering a buyer's agent commission is because every other property is also offering a buyer agent commission. And if you want buyer's agents to actually want to come and show your house in order for us to be able to sell it, we have to make sure that buyers or agents are going to get paid. Matter of fact, I actually believe that buyer agents should get paid the same amount of money as me. The only difference is that I have more expenses. So because I have more expenses, what we usually do is we offer pretty much the same amount of commission, but we also account for me spending additional funds to actually sell your property for you. On my listing agreements, I usually do 4% of the listing side and 2% of the buyer agent side. It's just how I do it. Every single one. And you know how many buyer's agents have called me complaining? 3. And you know what I tell them? Go get your own damn listings. Because at the end of the day, if you sign the listing agreement, and you're the one who's bringing the deal to market, you get to choose and you get to determine whatever you want. But that's a different conversation for a different time. Let's just focus on getting the listing signed. Okay? Do you have any questions for me before we move forward? Yeah, we have this. Yeah, we want to know that. Yeah, we want to know that. Okay, cool, no problem. Oh, okay, so this question actually, it's a phenomenal question. I just want to double check with my team and make sure that my team can fulfill everything I'm about to tell you. So if you give me about an hour, I'll be on my way back to the office. I will call my team, make sure that everything works. And if I have any questions, I'll put you on a conference call. What that does is it actually shows your clients that you're not scared to put yourself in an uncomfortable position just for the sake of earning their business. You'll talk to your team, you'll double check, you'll confirm. You're not just yes, you're wait, I have to find out. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because sometimes if you tell a client yes and the answer is no, you'd have to call your client back and say, hey, I fucked up, or you have to call, or you have to try to figure out how to make it work. And it's actually even more stressful to have to make something work. So now that we finished this conversation over here, all in of about 15, 20 minutes, I say, awesome, this was fantastic. Are there any other questions before we get the ball rolling? Any other questions before we get the ball rolling? That is the only question we have. It's not, what do you think, or what do you want, or do you know, or do you want this, or can I do this? It's, do you have any other questions before we get the ball rolling, before we get the ball rolling for you? Because I'm excited to go to work on your behalf. See, these are all words that trigger people. People love it when you do things for them. People love it. It's one of the 5 love languages, is acts of service. Mm-hmm. So you're literally telling them, I am ready to go to work on your behalf. Is there anything else that we need to get done for you before we get the ball rolling, before we get started, before we make it happen, before we go live, before I order photos? All of these things are action items. Mm-hmm. And when you use an action item to get somebody to move forward on something, the chances of them resisting that is very, very low. Because you've already done everything that they need. We're not trying to manipulate them. We're just giving them so much value that at a certain point they're like, yo, I would be really silly right now to let this opportunity go away. Because I'm about to walk out of this house. And I have another listing appointment to go to. And my team could only take on 12 new listings every single week because that's the capacity that we have as a team. I'm already at 6. I have 11 more appointments. On average, in my head, I know I close one of every 2 appointments. If I'm closing one of every 2 appointments, I'm going to 12 appointments, I'm going to pick up 6 more listings. So do you want to make a move now or do you want to wait till next week? Because right now I know that the market's moving. I don't know what's going to happen in a week. I know that this weekend I have 3 open houses. I don't know what's going to happen next weekend. But what I know here is that I have a bunch of people who are confirmed. And what I know now is that if I send this listing with you, and we're going to prepare your property, by the time the weekend comes along, your property will be listed on the market with photos and professional everything. And if any of my buyers from one of the open houses doesn't like the houses that I'm showing them, I can bring them to yours. Do you have any other questions for me before we get started?
Cleaning services, do we pay for it? Is it part of
We don't pay for shit.
Okay.
Okay, the reason we don't pay for shit is because nobody is actually truly committed to us.
Right. That's why
So I can recommend, I can connect, I will actually spend the time scheduling it for you, which we do have a dedicated service that usually charges, it's like a personal assistant, but we'll include it for you as part of the listing.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have the best cleaners.
Yeah, okay. And
We
what
pay for
else?
photos. Photos are $500.
Yeah. $500
Yeah.
it cost? Why so much?
Because we do 3D tours, we look at the website.
Oh, you do the metro?
We do everything.
Okay, that's why.
We have professional videos, we have professional photos, we have drone shots.
Okay, yeah, that's why. No, because the photos, I thought just photos was like, it shouldn't be 500. But amazing.
Nothing with me is just anything. There's always something else. Because that's how you do it. It's got to be stacked. When you layer things for people, see, let me use an example. We have people here who know their way around, right? So when it comes to like a holiday meal, right? There are two types of ways of having an exciting holiday meal. The first way of having an exciting holiday meal, which Jewish people, by the way, we're about to celebrate another one on June 1st in like 2 weeks. Thankfully, it's on a Sunday and a Monday, so we only lose one work day, not two. Not that there's anything wrong with losing a work day, but you know, when every day counts, it's important. So, let's break this down. If you're going to pull up to a meal and everything's on the table buffet style, it's boring. Because everything's in front of you. You know exactly what you're eating. And for some reason, Americans are obsessed with buffets. I don't know why, but they're obsessed with buffets. They're amazing. You're American. I know. I can tell you're American. Everybody loves it. Why? Because they like the illusion of many choices.
I do too.
All right, great. I love the fact we're all on the
I
same.
get extra steps in.
This conversation
You
went.
see, he gets extra steps at the buffet.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
get
move.
extra steps.
There's a move there.
Yeah.
So if that's the logic though, right? It gets boring after a while though, because it's the same food, and how many times can you actually go and eat the same food? I mean, I guess some people can do it more often than others, but most normal people, when it comes to eating the same thing again and again and again, they get bored. However, if you go to a Michelin star restaurant, right, where everything's brought out to you course after course after course, and it's one of those like courses that you just pay for the whole meal and you don't know what's coming out, you can actually enjoy it a lot more. Because you don't know what's next. And it's exciting and it's fun, it's a sensory experience, and there's all these things going on. That's how it works on listing appointments. Because they already have all the documents. They don't actually care about all the documents. Matter of fact, most of the time when people come back to you with questions about documents, it's just because they don't want you to feel, they want you to think that they're smart, and they don't want to feel like you're running a number on them. That is the exact and only answer. They don't want you to feel like you're taking advantage of them because they're dumb. So what you have to do is you have to make them feel like they're not dumb by giving them the opportunity to act not dumb. It sounds so silly, but you have to give them the opportunity to act not dumb in order for them to feel, okay, I can sign. They don't know what they're signing. But they know that if they ever want to cancel the agreement, they can cancel with no penalty. They know that if they sign with you, you're the best. So when someone says, hey, why'd you sign with him? They say, what do you mean? He's the best. David has 6 listings in Eastern Shores. David sold over 10 properties in Eastern Shores in the last 24 months. So obviously they're going to sign with him because he's the guy. Now, that's a perfect example, right? But with us, you say, oh, I didn't sign anything. All right, well, I haven't sold anything. That's okay. You're the most knowledgeable. You're the most open to being coached when it comes to working with a client. So your advantage is that if ever you get stuck, you know who to ask. Your advantage is that if you need to ask for help, you'll ask for help. That's an advantage in today's day and age. Because some people, their ego won't let them ask other people for help. So, $300 dials equals 1 appointment. 6 new leads equals 1 deal. 4 new contacts per day. Well, actually, let's do 5 contacts per day because the number is easier. 5 new contacts per day, 5 days a week, equals 25 new people per week. Tell me why, if you're meeting 5 new people per day, you can't talk to these 6 times 5 is 6, 12, 24, 30 new leads per week, and 300 appointments equals 1. Let's do 900, which equals 3. So you have 3 new appointments, 30 new people to talk to. Where are they coming from? The 5 new people you're talking to every day.
Cold calls.
Cold calls, Facebook messages, text messages, birthday
Prospecting.
videos. Prospecting. So if you're active, adding 5 new people to your database every single day, 5 days a week, believe it or not, your leads are self-manufactured. It's that basic. But it's too basic, so it's not exciting. So now we have to have leads from multiple different sources. But again, it breaks down to the same numbers, because even if you're going to go the 44 leads route, all you have to do is contact 7 people per day now, because 7 times 5 is 7, 14, 28, plus 7. Whatever, 29, 30 is 35. So no, you're going to have to do 9. 9 times 5 is 18, 36, 44. Or whatever that number is called. 9 times 5 is 10 times 5 is 50, 9 times 5 is 40, right? No, 44.
44.
No, it's just not in my head.
Guys, it's dangerous the way we run math over here. But that's my point, that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, no matter which way you break it down, if we're connecting with 5 new people every single day, you're going to have the leads that you need, you're going to have the business that you have. So what I'm asking for this week from Florida is to put out the 5 new leads every single day, put out those communications, set those appointments. So at a certain point, it's gonna work. It's just a matter of it paying off and doing this in a consistent sort of way. Any questions? Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's it. That's all we have to say. That's all where we are today. On Monday, we're gonna break this down. I'm gonna try to stream it live. Lex is gonna help me set everything up in Texas. And we're gonna stream everything live. And then,
Monday's Memorial Day.
no, well, we're flying on Monday. We'll
Oh,
be
I
back
hear
on
what you're
Tuesday.
saying.
She's
Alright, so
Canadian.
Tuesday.
She doesn't celebrate Memorial Day. I don't either.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm American, so I celebrate Memorial Day now.
No, congratulations.
There we go. So that's again, that was kind of a joke because I work either way. I don't care. Big holidays or not, I'm
Right.
working. And that's kind of the breakdown. Any questions before we wrap this up?
I have like the weekly, you always ask for help.
Yes. So let's do that. What time is it?
I'm gonna be really quick.
35.
It's 12:35, which means we have 20 minutes, right?
No, it's
How-
the one.
How far away is it?
It's like 30 minutes.
Map it, please. It's okay. We'll show up at 1:10. It takes the appraiser 20 minutes, anyways. They're not gonna be done in 20 minutes.
Okay.
One I'll ask you privately, and one I'll just do now.
Cool.
Very quickly, I have so this
33 minutes.
Okay. So text the agent and tell her that we're gonna be 15 minutes late. Hey, traffic coming. Hey, traffic. Be there at 35. Be there at 1:15.
Okay.
The church deal that I have right now, the buyers wanted to get my opinion on value. The issue is that there's not a lot of comps to go off of, so they want to know how much is acres going for in Cooper City.
That's not the correct way to look at it.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out how to get.
Let's do a Zoom at like 4 o'clock when I get back.
Oh yeah.
And we'll do it
Okay.
together.
Yeah, because that's a
We'll
little
do
bit.
that
And the other one I'll tell you privately. So, yeah.
It's cool. We'll get on the phone a little bit.
But at least they're willing to make an offer. We're ready to make an offer, but they just want to know like
An opinion value.
Yeah.
All right. That's fair.
Mhm.
What other questions do we have? Can I get a win from everybody for the week? Nobody's winning this week. Shit.
I hope that the next few weeks I'm gonna sign a whole bunch of stuff because everything right now is moving along really well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I have there was a house agreement for 2.2 that I have verbal agreements, and we're gonna have a contract soon.
This is up.
So yeah,
This is up.
so hopefully
Johnny's got a $10 million pipeline running right now.
Hey.
maybe more.
It's a move.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny has a $10 million pipeline running right now. She's just not documenting any of it, so we don't actually know what's
How do you
happening.
get those people for
actually,
the commercial?
Oh,
Cold calling them,
uh-huh.
or do you have your personal sphere?
When do you get back?
Yeah, I have a couple. I
When
posted.
do you
I
get
posted
Because
yesterday.
this,
yeah,
that girl,
cold calling,
Kelsey from
networking.
the new development.
Friday.
Yeah,
Set it up for Friday.
and
Friday
Set the
next
people
week.
I've been
Friday.
in contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also just literally one of my office. I was telling Joe the other day. Literally, one office person said, "I heard you do office, so I'm looking for office." It's not even going to be so much, but I told Joe, I said, it just makes sense for me to do office because then I continue that that momentum of everyone saying, "Oh, Johnny's the office guy." Just if you're looking for office, call Johnny. So I'm like, yeah. So I have
Here.
4 deals four office deals going right now.
Guys on Zoom, thank you for joining us on Zoom. We're gonna wrap up. It's always been a pleasure. Melinda, I'm looking forward to seeing you next week.
Do you have a
David,
side
we'll
job,
see
or
you as
do
well
you
next
do
week.
primarily only?
Make it a great week.
I will see you. Oh,
Sorry,
Tuesday,
let me
you're gonna
just,
be in Houston, right?
Yeah, Wednesday we'll be in Dallas.
Okay, I'll see you Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Would
Have
you
a good
ask?
week.
Do you have a side
See you soon.
another job, or do you do just real estate?
No, I do real estate. No. This is all I do.
Oh, okay. So
That's
you
all I
rented
do.
like an office that you work from there? Or
No. The other people that are looking for office space.
Ah,
So
sorry.
I'm
Friday
brokering
the
office
30th,
space.
yeah?
Sound really nice, Yoni.
Yeah.
Friday the 30th, Joe?
Yeah,
Okay.
in the afternoon. Alrighty, we're gonna bounce.
Thank you. So I'll call you. We'll talk a little bit later.
Yeah. Call it on the way back to Mr. Fraser.
Today.
I want to ask you something real quick. Can you step aside for a minute?
Yeah, come. That's what I'm.
Appointment.
My body hurts.
Did you do Pilates?
I actually didn't. I didn't wake up for my Pilates class today. That's really bad. And I paid for it too. But I did a different workout like 3 days ago and I'm still hurting. Yeah.
I wish I've done, but I didn't. Oh, it's like a plastic thing. I think I might have a space for it.